everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Gina. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Do you have scraps like I have scraps? My desk is full of scraps. I cleared off about a 12-inch by 12-inch section so that I can film, but there are scraps everywhere. And in this little box, there are scraps of watercolor paper. They're just extra pieces from other projects that I've done. I save them because, let's face it, watercolor paper isn't so cheap, especially if you get the good stuff. So I save all of my scraps. But I looked at them the other day and thought, well, what can I do with these? I wanted to do something artsy, but I wasn't sure what. So I started playing, and what happened was I ended up turning this into this. That's what I thought we'd do today. Make some fun, cute, simple pieces that you can use in a variety of ways. You can add them to your cards, you can add them to your journals, it could be part of clusters. If they're bigger pieces, you can make them pockets. You can use them for just about anything. So that's what we'll do today. Hope you stick around and join me. I thought it would be fun to show you just a variety of different things because scraps come in a variety of different sizes. So let's start with the first one. Now, you can either draw first and then use your color, or you can use your color and then draw around it. I do them both ways, but since it's long, I thought it would be fun to do a running vine. And for this, I think I will go ahead and ink first and then fill in. That is the simplest way. I figured it would be the fastest as well. And if you saw my last video, you know that the 02 nib is my favorite size. I think it is the most versatile, but I'm going to try to go with the 03 today. See if I can't get myself used to using something else because I'm afraid I'm going to wear out that nib. Okay, so for the vine, I'm just going to weave a little vine like so. Once I draw my main stem, I'm just going to add leaves. You draw a little line and you just alternate from side to side. Look, that one didn't even meet. When I do projects like this, the idea is to have fun, for it to be quick and simple and cute. And so it's hard to make it quick and simple if you fret too much about making everything perfect. I'm almost always happy with the way it turns out, even if you do things like that. It'll be fine. And I'll stick one on the end. Now you can make them as elaborate as you want. I'm just going to put lines in all of them. So there's our base. Now I'm going to go to my watercolor. Now if you're going to do it in this order, you want to make sure that you are using a pen that is waterproof. That's important. And this one is. It's Bianyo Microline pen. In the description box, you'll find a list of my supplies. For this, I'll use my Princeton Velvet Touch, size 1 round. I've got water. It's blue. That's okay. And I have what's just on my palette. Yeah, I don't know what kind of green it is. And we'll paint in the leaves. So as you can see, I'm not painting them all the way in. I thought I would pull a different green and mix the greens just to make it interesting, because rarely are leaves all one solid color. So I'm going to add a little bit of another color of green, another shade. Now I'm going to set that aside and let that dry just a minute. Once it's dry, if you want to knock back the white just a little bit, cover it up with some distress ink. This is antique linen. It's very pale and it's perfect just for setting back that white so that it's not so bright. I'm going to put something behind it. And think that turned out cute. Let's do another one. I think I'm going to put a big flower petal. I want to use this blue. I think it's turquoise. Let me add a little bit more. I'm sure you've seen this technique on numerous videos. I'm going to do the dot method. It's so easy. The first time I saw it was, gosh, a year or two ago on Creation CC. I think she made it up and it's just gone crazy from there. But it's easy and really anybody can do it. So you load up your brush and you just drop in concentrated dots of paint. Okay, 2. I'm just going to have 4 petals on mine. Now clean off my brush. With a pretty wet brush, I'm just going to start in the spot and just wiggle my way out into the shape of a leaf. Gives a nice soft edge. Isn't that beautiful? So let's go ahead and do another one. Wet my brush, start with the ink and just wiggle my way back. Could probably make a butterfly this way as well. Start in the spot and just wiggle your way back. Okay, one more. Start in the spot and just wiggle your way back. There you go. I have a new silicone mat. Now I can't. It's making it hard for me to pick it up. Okay. So while everything is still wet, I want to add another color because I just think that would be fun. So let's see. I'm going to go with some quinacridone magenta. And I just want to put a drop in. Oops, that one's already dry. I love how those spread. Looks like that one needs a little bit of help. I'm just going to add a little bit of water into it. That one didn't quite bloom as well. Oh, goodness. Yeah, you gotta do it while it's still wet. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take that up. I'm gonna grab a little bit of my blue and then just go back over this one. Rinse it off and just go back over. So now that it's all wet again. While it's wet, I'm gonna grab my quinacridone magenta and drop it in. There we go. Probably have to do the same thing to this one. I'm going to take that up. I'm going to go back into my blue. I'm going to use a heavier amount of ink here. And then I'm going to rinse off my brush and just bring it all back. Because I want to try to make it match the other ones. It probably won't match exactly, but yeah, I don't want this whole thing solid blue when the rest are very pale on the edges. I did the whole area, otherwise you'll get a bloom. But that might be okay. It's just fun to play around with that as well. So now that's all wet, I'm going to go back in. I'm going to drop in my other color. There. It's funny, I still didn't quite get the big burst. That's okay. Maybe I can help it. There. I'm going to ink over it, but I need to wait for it to dry completely. So while that dries, let me go ahead and start the next one because it will have to dry as well before I ink on it. And for this one, I think I'm going to do one of these. I thought that turned out so cute. I saw that on a box I received for some papers, which I guess I'll have to show you those papers in another video because they are really, really beautiful. And I just thought, oh, that's so pretty. So when I was playing around, I made one. And they're super easy to do. You just pick 2 or 3 different colors. Let's just use something on my palette. I start on the upper right and make just a circle. Now I'm going to take a different color, whatever this is. I'm going to do some of that, and then I'm going to do another circle. I'm going to change color and then do another one that's on this side. Now what's pretty is if you let them overlap, let your paint dry all the way, and then you do your other circle to where they touch or overlap. That turns out really nice. But if you're impatient like me, just do them next to each other. While that last one dries, I'm just going to go to this little one. This one I'll just make into a mushroom. I tend to use a very light color, some type of earth tone like a brown or a sienna or an umber, but on the pale side. I don't want it really dark. So you don't have much space. Let's see, maybe a little darker than that. So I'm just going to, this is almost like a block. I'm not sure what you would call it. Doesn't really look like a mushroom, but that's okay. It will when I'm done. That's practically a circle. I'm not sure if you can see that. There you go. It's pretty pale. Add a little stem. It's going to come down to kind of like a bulbous shape at the bottom. Add a little bit of dark here. Right there. Now I'll let that dry. Our flower is still a little wet right on this petal, so I'm going to have to wait. This one is dry. So let's go ahead and finish it. I'm back to my 03. Hopefully that's not too big. So I'm just going to go something like this. And that is kind of big, so I think I'm going to switch. I may even go down to the 01. That can be the stem. And then we'll just make our berries shoot off. Like we need one more. Just go on right here. And there you go. Super cute. This one we can just finish with some ink around the edges. And we're done. Our flower is almost dry, but let's go ahead and finish our little bitty mushroom. I'm going to go to the 005 nib, which is the smallest that I have. I look and see how the watermark dries and let that be my guide. I'm going to follow it right around the edge. Already it looks really cute. I'm going to put some little dots down here. Let's just use dots and give it some type of nice little decoration. Well, we put some lines here. Here we go. Oh, isn't that cute? We can even add a little bit of a ground here if we want to. Aww. To finish him off, we'll go ahead and ink around him as well. You can always cut it out. That's what I did with some of these. That's always an option as well. Our flower is finally dry. That one didn't quite turn out like the rest, but again, that's fine. I'm going to ink over it. I think I'll go with the trusty old 02 nib, and I'm just going to doodle. So I'm just going to trace around it. Put some dots. Might need my 03. There, kind of give it a center. I'll trace around a bigger loop, just around some of the edges. You can kind of see where it wiggles around. I'm just going to add a solid loop. And then I'm going to go in and just add some lines. I think on some of the lines, we'll have a stamen coming out. Put little, I don't know the parts of the flower, so I might have said that wrong. There. Nice. I want to add a background and have it not just be white or not just use the antique linen. I'm going to use watercolor instead. This is a brush that came with the Stabilo 3-in-1 Woodies, and I love this brush. Maybe go with something like an orange, dilute it a little bit, and just carefully go around the outside. My ink pen is bleed proof, so that should be fine, but I do have to be careful when I get up in here where it's around the other watercolor. Okay, we'll let that dry. I finished that one off with a little bit of inking around the edges. And all of the brown inking was in Vintage Photo, in case you're wondering. I did go back and added more lines in my leaves just to make them stand out more. You can keep doodling on them and make them as elaborate as you like, or you can keep them simple. I even considered cutting out around my flower, and depending on how I use it, I may end up doing that. I just got the thought to do one more. This one is really, really simple, and I think it looks real cute. Maybe I'll use this Fine Touch. This is a size 12. And I'm just going to paint some fronds. I'm just going to grab some green, load up my brush. I'm going to draw a stem down the center, and I'm going to make the first frond right in the center. Press down and come up. And I'm just going to do the same thing, but just come around the sides at an angle. Okay. And then do the other side. That's all there is to it. That's what I did for these. I thought it turned out really, really cute. And it was simple and it was really fast. And very little skill level is needed. That's the way most of my projects are. Very little skill level. The point is to have fun. And if you're too busy stressing about being perfect and not messing up, then it's not very much fun. And you can't learn that way either. You have to be able to make mistakes and just try things. Just try, that's all. A lot of my stuff is rubbish, but I keep trying and I keep playing, and that's where the inking comes in. I have a video where I took a watercolor page where I had tried a whole bunch of different techniques and brush strokes, and it just looked like a hot mess. But then you take a look at them and you get a pen and you ink and doodle around them, and all of a sudden it's like magic. It looks like something that you attended, like real art, and it's so much fun. So go ahead and get your paints, get your pens, and just try. You can do it. He's taking a long time to dry. I'm just going to help him. Now he's dry. I'm going to just ink around him, finish him off. Something fun to do, I thought looked fairly whimsical, is when you have a little piece, snip the corners, and it gives it such a fun shape. You just ink around those. We can do that to our mushroom as well. There you go. 5 scraps busted. I think they all turned out really cute. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I gave you some ideas for some quick, fun, easy ways to take your scraps and make them into something super cute that you can use in a variety of different ways. If you liked the video, please give me that thumbs up and let me know. And leave me a comment. That's the most fun, is reading your comments. That's going to be it for this one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.